Hello and welcome to Biofilm News, your source for latest news in the world of life science, healthcare, and pharmaceutical industry. This is a video where I wanted to talk about 5 news topics that I came across that have nothing to do with the latest crisis that we all experience. So let's get started. First bit of news that I wanted to talk about today has to do with US drug supply and where does it really come from. In the article that I've came across today, and by the way, I'm going to put all the links to the articles that I'm going to mention today down in the description below. So feel free to browse them and read them yourself. This article comes from Fierce Pharma, and it talks about how much does US rely on China for its drugs. And what I came to find out through this article, that due to the crisis, that the questions of the drug supply have been raised more and more often. And the prevailing thought is that China actually supplies quite a lot of drugs or active pharmaceutical ingredients to various companies in the US. And when the FDA was asked about that earlier, a few months ago, basically the spokesperson actually said that the answer is that actually they don't know how much of the drug supply is being manufactured in China and just how much US is dependent on that. So naturally, the question of, for example, trade tensions between US and China having an effect on the supply of those vital medicines has been brought up. So feel free to browse this article for more insights into this discussion that is still ongoing about making sure that actually US can produce its own drugs through things like continuous manufacturing protocols, or that US government is planning to add different types of incentives to make sure that the companies can actually produce the medicines in the US and not rely on outside sources or companies to produce them for distribution. So this is the first bit of news. Second bit of news that I came across today was about a particular company that was bought fairly recently. So this company actually is a division of General Electric's called GE Healthcare. Now this company is actually known to me personally because I've been a customer of that company for the duration of my PhD. What I mean by that is I actually used their protein purification instrumentation, such as Actis systems, to purify my proteins and then use them for characterization. This division of GE has recently been acquired by Danaher. So it's very interesting to me that this is now the case, that the Danaher actually bought GE Healthcare during the time of this coronavirus crisis. And as a customer of GE Healthcare, it would be very interesting to see whether or not we'll see any sort of differences now that this new company called Cytiva will bring to the table as part of this alliance of different companies under the umbrella of Danaher. And the other companies, for example, Beckman Coulter. So those are types of companies that are a part of that alliance. And it will be very interesting how this now Cytiva will join forces together with others to continue bringing these different hardware solutions and consumables to the life science market. The third bit of news that I came across today actually comes from Saudi Arabia. Actually, this was very interesting to me because the issue of gender equality in Saudi Arabia gained a lot of attention in recent years. And in this recent report by the scientists, they've explored that and found out that universities there started to push to recruit more women into the faculty positions. And this is a very welcome news to a lot of people. I think this is something that other countries have been addressing for a while, and it's very important to see that this is now more prevalent in countries such as Saudi Arabia. And the ideas of diversity and promoting diverse faculty across institutions is a definitely welcome thought and a bit of positivity in this very scary world. So the fourth story that I came across today was actually a paper that I found in Nature Food from a company from Israel that is actually producing cell-based meat. So if you think Impossible Burger, Beyond Meat, things like that, where they are essentially making plant-based meat substitutes to put in the burgers or something. This is a different approach to that idea, where essentially this company is growing real bovine muscle cells and growing them on what they call soy protein scaffolds to create this texture rather, that would resemble more like a muscle tissue that you can find in a steak, for example. So in this paper that they've just published in Nature Food, which is quite interesting, they were describing the process of making that tissue samples and actually giving some samples to the volunteers for tasting. And obviously they found that the tasting is actually quite good. Those volunteers reported that the texture is fairly similar to the actual muscle tissue or that you can find in a steak. So sign me up. I'm definitely willing to try it when I get a chance. And the last bit of news that I came across today comes from Science, where I found, and this would be probably a very interesting story that would attract a lot of probably attention, which is has to do with the research into marijuana. So basically the gist of it is the Drug Enforcement Agency actually announced that they will start to review a number of different requests to grow marijuana for research. And actually this is a big milestone for this type of research, because for a long time, for many years, if not decades, the federally funded research on marijuana has been stalled because, well, it was basically illegal. So now DEA actually reported that they will start to review those requests for those applications to grow marijuana for this type of federally funded research. So this has been cheered on by many people in that industry, and it will be very interesting to see for outside people such as myself what all the fuss is all about, and when it comes to weed and the benefits or shortcomings and whatnot. So these are the 5 topics that I came across today. Again, all the links are in the description below. So please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm very curious to know what other stories you have come across. So put them in the comments below, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay safe.